What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Finally feeling better, getting over COVID. And today I'm excited to bring you my top 5 carried pocket knives of June. That's right, we're already through the month of June. That's crazy to me, just absolutely mind-blowing. So what I'm going to be doing today is just kind of running through my top carried knives in June. I feel like the list is probably very representative of where I am with my collection as of this exact moment. So let me go ahead, grab my knives, and we'll jump into my top 5 and why I think that they're in the top 5. So first up, I'm going to be talking about my Benchmade Bugout. So if you've seen my recent video, you know that I did acquire the Blade HQ exclusive 20 CV with the gray G10 scales. What I've gone ahead and done is swapped over my anodized scales and left the green hardware and gray hardware alone. I really think that this really looks good together. I already liked the Bugout, and I think S30V is still one of the best well-rounded steels out there. 20 CV just a little bit more tough than S30V, but not as easy to sharpen or maintain the edge. So a little bit more work for the 20 CV, but it was just such a good price, I couldn't pass it up. And the green titanium hardware I think looks really nice against the blue scales. Again, gives it that pop. I guess some people may not like it. They probably like the more subdued blue and how that really matches on there, but I really think it looks really nice, especially with the grayed out hardware that goes on either side of the scale. So I think that looks really nice. The action is pretty smooth. It's still breaking a little bit. I did keep the newer phosphorons washers, like literally just move the scales over to this body is what I did, and I really like it. I think it looks really good. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. I still love the anodizing on these scales, and I get asked all the time how it's holding up really well. I've had no issues with it, no chipping, it's not wearing away. Yeah, you can see the fingerprints, but again, I think that adds character to the knife itself. So number 5 for sure makes sense to me why this one's in my carry. And again, this is one that the wife sponsored for me as a Father's Day gift last year. So number 5 is going to be the Benchmade Bugout, and that absolutely positively makes sense. So let's go ahead and keep it moving. At number 4 is going to be the Concept Convict S35 VN. Got a Warncliffe blade there. I love the bronze ano that they have on all the hardware. Wish they would have matched the pivot, and I really like the job that they did on the handles as well. The gray going into the black looks really nice. This is nice and comfortable in hand, and like the Bugout, this is a more slender knife, so it is very thin, but it does have enough girth going across here in the contouring and the way that it's chamfered down to be really comfortable, and it does a good job filling the hand so that I do have that confidence in grip when I am using this knife. But it is still my favorite convict, and I apologize, a little hot out here. If you hear that fan going in the background, apologies. Trying to keep myself cool, especially after just coming off of COVID, getting over it. I think today's day 6 from the day that I tested positive. I think they said after 5 you're pretty much not contagious. But anyway, I feel well enough to do this. And back to the knife itself, really smooth action, very drop shut, unbelievable the action on this, and it has remained locked up nice and tight, and lock up with the actual lock bar really good, hasn't moved any from where I got the knife, and again just keeps getting smoother and very easy to actuate. We'll see how the ano holds up on this, but this was my number 4 carried knife in the month of June. Really awesome knife, and I like it a lot. Gonna cheat a little bit here at number 3. At number 3, I am going to bring out both my AD 20.5s. That's right, this is my number 3 top carried knife, and it is a combination of the two. I consider this the same knife, even though one is clip point, one is sheep's foot, one is the 3V from the Knife Center exclusive drop that they did recently, and then the Austin A, this one was the DLT training exclusive that they did. And I know some people are saying that 10A at that price point wasn't a really good choice. In the 3V, they did it for $30 more, but they also did change the packaging. They dropped it down to a very cheap package to be able to deliver at that price, and I understand why they did that. But I will be honest, and you can see I do use my sheep's foot. It has some scarring or markings on there where you can see that I actually use my knife, and I feel like the 10V is performing well. I don't have any issues. I am not out here cutting a bunch of rope or opening roofing bags or mulch or things of that nature that are going to really chip at the blade. And I really do believe that the edge on here is really good, and the DLT drop happened in like the third or fourth batch that they dropped of these, so perhaps they figured it out. Maybe they adjusted their heat treat. I don't know. All I can tell you is that all the crying and whining that I hear about the 10V and the way that it's performed, I am personally not seeing that. And I had the 10V clip point, I'm sorry, not the 10V, I had the AUS 10A clip point, and it was doing just as good as the one here on the shark's foot. So really happy about that. I did see DLT did come out with a 3V shark's foot, but I just can't justify in my mind replacing this one when it is performing just fine to me. So the reason I like this is because it is, again, very Bugout-esque in size. I really like the shark's foot a lot. I do want to get a 20, an 80-20, probably a machine ground. I don't know. I definitely can't afford a full custom right at this particular point, but I would like to get a hold of a 20, maybe even a 20S, and then try to modify and deck it out similarly to how I've done these. I might in that instance try to chase down some titanium scales. I know that there's a couple out there, I think Goat and a couple others out there that are doing titanium scales, and I don't know if that's just for the 20.5 or if they are also doing that for the 20. But I really like this from an everyday carry. Really nice knife, really good size, plenty of cutting edge, carries very nice in the pocket, allows me to carry the other gear that I value very much in my rotation and in my carry, which is why I like these two very much. In addition to these fat carbon scales, there are skiff bearings down in the pivots, which I think are a little bit better than the ones that come with the factory knife, from the factory I should say. And then the deep carry pocket clip from Lynch Northwest, they have tons of colorways, really nice to do. I wish the blacked out hardware for the DLT would have included the liners and the shark lock, but you know, it still looks good in my opinion. But that's my number 3. Those two, you know, they're interchangeable, and also it's the combination of the two that I've carried them, so I do like those a lot. This knife does not surprise me at all. Number 2 wouldn't have surprised me if it would have been number 1. That is going to be my Giant Mouse Ace Grand. This is the River's Edge exclusive with the smooth burlap micarta, which looks really good against all of the blacked out hardware and the black washed blade. The 4V seems to perform really well. I'm not sure I've seen anything on the test or the heat treat of the Bowler 4E, but it is really performing well. Because I carried it so much, I did a fair amount of cutting with it, and just really happy with the 4E from Bowler. I think it's really nicely done. Hopefully the heat treat is really well on it, but I don't know how much of a heat treat you would need with such a tough steel. It is very tough steel from what I understand. I did keep the wire pocket clip on there. I do like it, and it's performing well. I also like it aesthetically, the way that it looks. The only complaint that I have is the liner access was a little bit tight for larger hands, so I did just take a Dremel and knock down a little bit of the scale, which I really didn't want to do on this one. I really wanted to leave it alone because it's like a limited run of 300 knives, but it is what it is in order to enjoy it and actuate it and use it, because even though it is limited to 300, I do use and carry my knives, and this is definitely one that I like way too much not to carry and use it. It is not going to be a save queen. It is just going to be my personal variant that I enjoy and that I use. So really nice chamfering on this. The jimping's in a really good spot out here on the edge of the knife so that you can really control the tip. If you're doing some detailed work, you can really choke up and get close on that edge for the push cuts. Lots of belly, not too high of a drop point here to get down to the tip if you need to do any draw cuts. And again, ergos on this are just outstanding. I am kind of kicking myself for waiting so long to have picked up a Grand. These are fantastic, and this design is definitely one of my favorites, and as you can tell, coming in at number 2 for the month, that is why it is number 2 is because I do really like that knife so much. All right, let's keep it moving. Number 1, probably not going to be a surprise to anyone, still one of my favorite EDCs, is going to be the Protec Malibu. All the button locks that are coming out there, and the craze on the button locks, and the button locks that are going to be coming that were announced at Blade Show. This is still the reigning champ. Reverse Tanto 20 CV. It has diamond plated texturing now on the handles to really provide excellent grip, nice ergonomics. This is just a really good size for everyday carry, for things that you know, getting into your boxes, your packages, cutting strings, zip ties, even a little bit of rope and some, you know, light duty stuff. This is going to be really, really good, and it'll perform well enough if you do need to push it and do some harder tasks. So for like an EDC knife that you're just carrying and you're not really caring about what you do with it, this is just a really great size. That bug out size, that convict size, you know, the Malibu, the Yojimbo 2, they all fall into that wheelhouse of everyday carry and the typical stuff that I think 90% of us are doing with our knives. That's not to say that you can't have bigger or smaller knives to do those tasks. I just think this is a really great size, really good ergonomics. It performs really well, and this has just been one of the knives that has become a mainstay, like the Bugout, in my rotation. And from a fidget factor, it is very smooth. I do like the skiffs. I have not gotten these to break in as quick as the last set, and I think part of that was because I did over tighten it just a touch in the beginning. So it is now starting to get to that really smooth operating phase in this knife's carry. So really like this. Goes in and out of the pocket well because they did put that landing zone there underneath the pocket clip, so I have no issues with it going in and out. It has enough height on that bill to catch anything that I'm putting in the pocket, or putting it material wise in the pocket. It catches it. It goes all the way to the tip. So just a great knife, and that rounds out my top 5 carried knives for the month of June. Let me know what you carried the most. What are you enjoying carrying the most? And do me a favor, if you like this video, leave a like for today. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for all the support to everyone out there that is subscribed. Make sure you have that notification bell set to all so you can decide what videos you would like to enjoy. Don't forget to give me a follow over on Instagram if you are very much interested in seeing pictures and shorts of my everyday carry gear, because I do post daily. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.